All right, Coach, I got a couple of questions for you. I know the bye week is an opportunity to self-scout. What area of the game do you start with?
Everything. Where we started, you got me. We have to look at everything. This is our chance to do that, and so this is a full week of evaluations, this is a great time for us. You know, to be where we are and have a chance to look back and fix things and get better and all of that, as well as get a little healthier. This is a great time for us.
And Demontre Moore, how does he get on special teams? That was a heck of a play.
It's a good story. I think if I have this right, he was drafted by the Giants when Larry Izzo was there, and Iz was part of special teams there, and he used to cover kicks for him way back then. When we first got Demontre coming back in, that was the first thing he told me. He said, "Hey, this guy can cover kickoffs now," and I said, "No, come on, he's too big. He can't do that." And he said, "No, wait till you see him." Well, Demontre's always been a guy with great energy and great juice, great motor, really a great effort player, and so that kind of all lends it to he's going to be going as fast as he can go all the way down the field. And sure enough, he lit one up, and on the hit that he made, the sidelines was 10 feet off the ground for those moments right there. In that kind of culminated the surge that we had in the game. It was just thrilling, and so it was a blast. That was my favorite play of the game by far.
Joe?
Hey, Pete. Super good to see you.
Hey, appreciate that.
Curious, how do you practice sudden change moments? You guys have been really good when you get takeaways at scoring pretty quickly. And so I'm curious if you're able to replicate that at all in practice on both sides of it, where your offense turns the ball over and you need a quick stop, or trying to capitalize on a turnover and scoring quickly.
Yeah, well, I don't remember ever really talking about this, but we do practice sudden change. We have we do our move the ball periods in camp about half the time. Maybe not quite half the time, but maybe 4 out of 10 times we do it. We're going to do sudden change. It's a sudden change kind of scrimmage, and we do it just to practice the routine of it. There is a real routine to get your mind together on both sides of the ball when you take the field there that we have always found has made us better at it. We've always been pretty good at this stuff and pretty effective, and I think it comes from having a routine to it, so that everybody comes off the bench, and when they get to the field, they've been connected, in the moment, the opportunity, the situation, what's there, what just happened, and all of that, because a lot of times guys are drinking a Gatorade over there. They're not, they're talking about the game, and all of a sudden, bang, something happens. And so we want to get them all reconnected, and so we've been doing that and practicing that for a long time.
Bob?
See, after 11 years, you ask a question that nobody ever asked before, Joe. That's a good question, man.
Hey, Pete, just what is your message to the players this week about how to handle this week now, especially given everything, obviously, that's kind of going on in the world?
Yeah, we have to be so tuned in. Rule number one is always protect the team, and this is what this week is about. It's staying in that rule number one is all about conscience and staying connected to team and your players and who you represent and all that. Everything is at stake. I mean, and why it's such a big deal is we're out of our normal routine. We can't practice this one. This is just the first time we just got to do it. And I love practicing everything and being prepared and having a mentality for it. And this has just got to carry over from all the time we've had. Our guys will test every day in the morning, so they'll stay at least connected in that manner. And I'm kind of hoping that our guys will work out and be around the facility and do their thing in a fashion so that it's somewhat normal, because we're entering into a new week, and their routines are they're starting over. So I'm concerned about guys making error in their ways, and they run into the wrong people, they go to the wrong place, and they get themselves, and they become vulnerable, and we change the bubble effect of what we've been creating here and working so hard to keep. So it's all about conscience. And so we'll do everything we can to remind them in every way, and the players are going to work at it amongst themselves and all of that. With real direction is really crucial. So hopefully we'll be able to pull it off.
Ben?
Pete, you mentioned Demontre Moore just a second ago. Just he and Benson, are two guys that were in your program in the past and have come back. I'm just curious, what kind of growth have you seen in them from the time that they were away, and what has enabled them to kind of come up big for you guys in kind of big moments, those big defensive stands you guys
Yeah, two totally different kind of, relationships with our program. We had brought Brenson, out of Idaho way back when. He was just a raw kid and all that. He has so much, has gained so much from his experience of playing in the league. He's just a really smart football player, game awareness, scheme awareness, just personal awareness about, presenting his best and preparing every day. He's just grown up, and so and he's really grateful for coming back, which is always fun, and he was really happy to be part of it, and it's been a great, a great connection again. With DeMontre, he was just here a short time. He was in and out of here. He'd been in a lot of programs. He's really had some run-ins over his years, that just haven't worked out, and he's just been through a lot of places. And I say that because when he came back here to us, he made a real statement about how important it was to him now to put his best foot forward. He's got a family that he's protecting, and a baby that he's taking care of, and his perspective has changed. I hope he can hold on to it, because he's a guy that loves to play this game, and that part of it, you couldn't hide whether he was 10 years old or he's 25, 30 years old. He's always going to be that kind of person that just loves to play. Great energy, great juice, great motor, and all of that. Well, he that's still there, but he's got a different outlook, and I hope he can continue to make the good decisions to keep himself, available for the opportunities, because he's a fun guy to have in your team, and I'd like the heck out of the guy.
John?
Pete, you already mentioned DeMontre Moore's hit on kick coverage, but just curious about your thoughts of special teams overall, the way Dixon punted again, that over-the-shoulder catch David Moore had on the punt return. Seemed like just another really strong day.
Was that David Moore, or was it Ugo? Was it David? Yeah.
I'm talking about the punt return where he was backpedaling.
On the yeah.
Kind of the Willie
on the
Mays.
return. Yeah. There we go. Back to Willie. Special teams have been just lights out. We have been so clean and so disciplined. Execution has been terrific. The kicks, the guys have been almost perfect. Both guys, and Jason and Mikey. The balls Mike was dropping on him. He had almost a perfect game punting the football last night, and we didn't always take advantage of the field position he gave us, but those two guys. And as you said, David had a real nice play in return. We're not getting many kickoff returns. Ball's getting kicked deep so much, but the whole function of all of it is just great. And hopefully we can keep it going. No penalties for 5 weeks is. I don't think we've ever gone a streak like that. Maybe we have, but I don't think so. And so that's attention to detail, and really it's good leadership. Larry Izzo's doing a great job with those guys.
Corbin?
Hey, Pete, you've talked a couple times so far this year about how pleased you are with the progress of LJ Collier, but the stats haven't necessarily been there the first 4 games. Gets his first sack last night, almost had a second one, helped with that 2-point conversion stop. Do you think the light switch has really come on for him here the last few weeks?
I think he's been on since we've been back. He's just been a different guy. He's just been the best of him. He's been in great shape. He's mentally right. His effort has been excellent. Technique-wise, he keeps getting better. I think that's what you're seeing. His experiences are starting to show. That he's just more precise with how he's making his plays. I think he's going to have a great season for us. He's already been real effective, and and he's had to play a lot. He hasn't had the rotation because Rasheem hasn't been in there. He's had to play more than we would have liked. And there's an advantage for these guys to be rotating up front. You can keep them fresh, and they're just a little bit quicker, a little hotter. When their rushes and their play. And he has not had the benefit of that as much as we like. So I think LJ's doing great, and we're really excited. I'm really thrilled that he's had a chance to contribute. We're counting on him.
Nico?
Thank you. Hey, good seeing you. I got a couple questions. The first one is DK has been unbelievable at the end of the season and throughout the time he's been with you guys. There's already talks about him being one of the best in the league, some comparisons with some Hall of Famers. How do you make sure to keep him focused and, not let that kind of get to a young player?
Yeah, there's a lot going with this. This is a lot more than just trying hard and playing good and making some plays and all that. There is expectations and pressure and outside influences and all kinds of stuff that DK is dealing with and has to deal with, and he has to find his way to balance all that out and sort it out. Fortunately, we've been through the kind of the ascent of players that get a lot of attention and a lot of acclaim and all that. And there's some real lessons that I know I've learned and that I can help him with as he's going through it. So there's a big balancing and juggling type of act going on here with all the stuff that can happen around him. He needs to just stay focused and stay really clear on what's really important to him, and that's preparing every week to go play like that. And he's got a great one in Russell, as a mentor, and he and Russ get along incredibly, and their rapport is just not just on the field; it's off the field, and as they prepare too. So all of that has to take place, and everybody's going to have their ups and downs. And DK hasn't played perfectly. He's made his mistakes and missed some balls that he could catch and will catch and all that. So it's still all out there for him. But I think what people are noticing is that you can't help but notice his presence, his physical presence when you play against him. It's so obvious. He's so fast and so strong and so tough. Again, he's getting after guys when he's blocking them, and all of that goes together with his game. Is we need to find a consistency, and he'll have to find the rhythm of what that all takes. And as he's learning, he hasn't had enough success yet to know that yet. He's still working, but he's available to learn it. And he's really bright, and he cares so much. I wish everybody knew him like we know him. He's a beautiful kid, and it's really exciting to watch.
And I know what you mentioned already. The bye week has a lot of things that helps you to analyze and look around. But when you're 5-0 for the first time in franchise history, and you're going such great momentum, how do you keep that going throughout the bye week?
One day at a time. Really, one day at a time. It's one day at a time and one step at a time, even when you really get down to it, and one moment at a time. And it's that ability to be disciplined, to hold to the present that will allow us. We get all caught up in everything else and the stuff on the outside and all the hype. These guys are going to hear a bunch of hype all week long, about this and that. And I'll address that in our meetings today. But they got to handle it properly, Hype. Somebody said one day, hype's kind of like poison. You drink too much of it, you get sick. And so we just gotta stay within ourselves and just keep taking it one step at a time and one championship opportunity at a time.
Curtis.
Yeah, Pete, I wanted to ask about the guys that could be coming back after the break. Rashad Penny, Darrell Taylor, Colby Parkinson, DJ Reed. How are those guys at right now? And then also Philip Dorsett and there's one other, Rasheem.
Every one of our guys is on his own schedule, kind of, on the return, and it's not like, okay, these 6 guys are all ready to go. It's not like that. I checked before it came down today just to double check and make sure if there's any updates, and we really don't have any updates on those guys. And it's 2 weeks away, for some guys, and so. We'll just have to use all the time. I can't tell you. I know everybody like to have the feel good. Oh, this guy's coming back, that guy's coming back, and all that. I don't know that, and the trainers don't know it yet. So the workload is always, how do they handle it? And so this week will be a very vigorous week for a bunch of guys in those settings, and then that'll mark the tip off to the game week, and then we'll see how that goes. And so we just have to wait and see. But we're going to get stronger. We know that. We're going to get some real comebacks coming to us. It just is when is the question.
Greg?
That I can't answer.
Good morning, Pete.
Hey.
How much will you consider hiring back Dan Quinn?
Can we give Dan a chance to just try to reel with it? I haven't talked to Danny yet. I don't know what's going on with him, but we love Dan and all that, and I'll just see what's happening in his world. I'm not even thinking about anything about that right now. This is about him getting reset and balanced. It's an enormous undertaking to get let go in a program like that and the profile of all of that. And I'm going to try to support him, help him any way I can.
Tim?
Pete, Anthony Rush got injured last night. Do you have an update on him, and were there any other injuries out of the game?
We had his knee swelled up in the game, and he had to get some fluid taken off his knee. I don't know what that's going to mean, but he was unable to play 11 plays, I think, last night. There's really, we had no major injuries that came out of the game. We had some cramping and some different situations and stuff that occurred, but nothing major.
Okay, and then not many teams have run for 200 yards against you guys in past decade. What was Minnesota be able to have success with last night?
They were good, man. They were good. What they had success with was 13-0, and they were ahead of us, And so they're a running team. They want to run the football. They don't want to have to rely on the throwing game. That's just the way Coach Zimmer does it. And they got everything they needed. They played great in the first half. They had a perfect game going for themselves. Russell's sitting on the bench. Offense can't get out there, and they're staying on the field, and they're getting to run the ball. This is the game that they wanted to play, and they had their way for a half, and fortunately we turned it and got the thing switched. But we weren't ahead by much for very long. If they couldn't stay with the running game, and they had developed a rhythm to it, and they were effective, that's not going to happen very many times against us, but it did in this night, and I was really impressed with their line of scrimmage. Where they had some trouble pass proing us, they didn't have any trouble coming off the ball running it, and we just need to play better. But the game it's just how these games go, it kind of played into their hands. They've had, I think in their other 4 games, they haven't had more than like 60 plays, and 62 or something plays. They've not been in the games like this where they could utilize the run game. You could see the running game and the availability of it. You could see it, he's leading the league in rushing, but they weren't leading the league in rushing as a team. You could see the expertise, and they got to use it. So it played right into their strength, and it was unfortunate.
Michael, Sean?
Pete, I know you like the fact that your defense comes up with timely plays or fourth down stops when you need them. Do you think you'll get to a point where they're, force some more points, getting off the field before needing to make those plays?
Yeah, we had our best night on third down. We were 40-something, that's a move in the right direction. The turnovers are huge for us, yeah, but really the third down stops are really where we have to continue to work on. Points are down the last couple weeks. I know it's not a major difference, but we're transitioning, and we are changing right now, and it's good. I thought Quentin Dunbar played terrific last night. It was great to see him back out there. He's a player that's going to help us, and I think when Jamal gets back out there, we know how impacting he's been. We've got a lot of improvement that's going to happen, and I think as I said earlier that, Jen kind of set the stage. I don't really care what's already happened. It doesn't matter. We can't do anything about those 5 games that already happened, or the yards, or the plays, or nothing. But we do have the ability to do something about what's coming up, and for us to kick into a whole better level of our performance in all aspects of our game, when we have a good start behind us, it can make us real dangerous going down the schedule here. So we got to improve. We got to get better, and so. There's been we've already, like a lot of teams have gone through a lot of injuries and stuff. We have too. We've had a lot of changes that we've had to deal with, and we just need to overcome those and come out of those and be better for it. And I'm hoping we can get that done.
Art?
Pete, second possession of the third quarter, you guys finally had a breakthrough with a 4-play drive, 3 of them explosive. What went into that drive that was different from the first half?
Well, just the real obvious ones are, that we didn't hurt ourselves. We didn't fall behind the sticks, and we had big minus yardage plays in the first half. You couldn't even evaluate us. Like I said, there was a third and 22, third and 16, third and 24. You can't play football like that and expect to do anything. It was just like throw that one out, and we'll start over again. Unfortunately, and and we didn't. It wasn't because of our third down play. It was because of first and second down. We were explosive. We never did convert a third down in the game. So it was just we were explosive. We were just on the move, And the first drive of the second half, we ran the ball a few times, tried to get a little something going there. We weren't able to make the first down, and then from there on, it was really you couldn't stop us, And that's kind of how we've been playing all season. So it was good to get back to the rhythm of it.
Did you and Shotty talk about particular plays for that drive?
Not the particular plays, no.
Okay.
Other stuff, but you didn't hit it right, so I don't have to answer that.
Oh, what other stuff did you talk about?
I can't tell you. I didn't tell you. No. Well, we just talked about it. We just needed to go. We just needed to go, and that meant make sure that Russ is in the middle of everything, and not being able to make a first down the first drive. Russ never got a chance to get started. Some of his own doing. He got sacked a couple times when we were holding the football back there, but he never got going until the second drive of the third quarter, as you noted, and then from then on it was kind of lights out.
Brady, you have a question for Pete?
I sure do, yeah. Pete, what's your just thoughts on the job that Brian Schotnimer has done over the first 5 weeks?
Oh, I think he's been on fire. I think he's done a great job. The changes that we made in the offseason and the adjustments and the work that we put forth in the in the Zoom season was just, obviously it was remarkably effective, and I think you've seen this is the culmination of 3 years' work to get to this point with he and Russ and the coaches and all of that, and they're just functioning at a really high level. And even when we get shut down and we don't do anything in the first half, we can rip and put points on the board. It's really important for everybody to know that we can score 21 points in 2 minutes. Because we're gonna need that again, likely down the road, and that belief and that the truth. So I think Shotty's right in the middle of all of that, and and he and Russ, Russ is playing fabulous football, and so that means that there's some fabulous coaching going on too, and Russ knows that he's got his guys around him. The offensive line is just better than we've been, more consistent than we've been, and I don't even care about any of the numbers that came out of this game. We're just better. And look at the connection that he has, that they've developed between the receivers. New with Greg Olsen, new and again with DK. That's been a huge, really. That's the result of really good work by Shotty and leading the whole thing.
And in terms of Brian being up in the box, when in your previous head coaching stops, what did the coordinator do in terms of where he was, and what does that mean? Does it change anything for you in terms of your communication with that person?
Not really. No, not really. Nothing that's noticeable. I mean, you get to look a guy in the eye. It's always good to, when you can communicate better when you go face to face. But no, it's only been better. It's enhanced every aspect of what we're doing, and so it was a good move.
Thanks.
Masvidal.
Hey Pete, going back to the third down 0-7, what's the teachable moment there in terms of on the offensive side?
Stay out of 3rd and 20s. Really. You just, and that comes from the plays that happened preceding, and it's all connected. We're not doing very well earlier, getting knocked down, getting in the minus yardage situations and all that. The negative plays, got to stay out of those. And again, we did really well penalty wise. 3 penalties in the game is fantastic. It wasn't that. It was just some execution issues that we got caught, and good play by them, and sometimes that happens, and hopefully you have a chance to overcome it, like we did.
Bob, you have a follow-up?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask Pete what you saw to Snacks Harrison last week, sort of where he is and things, and what you think you could get at him going forward.
Well, we didn't get a lot done. We really didn't get a lot done because of the setup for the week. The practice, we walked through mode on Wednesday. We put pads on. We didn't put our pads on at all last week. We were just in helmets, and so we really didn't get a great look at him. He's got some some work to do. He's a big man. He's got to get in shape and before we can see him at his best.
Last question, Curtis Crabtree.
Similar for me, Jonathan Bullard played about 20 snaps for you last night. How'd you feel he fared getting into it? It seemed like he showed up a little bit for you guys.
It's remarkable that he was able to play that much. He came in on Wednesday, and it's a statement about his background and his knowledge of the game and all that, to be able to. He didn't make. I don't think he made any big errors at all, scheme wise. So his communication with Clint, because of their history, showed up, and he did a nice job for the first time out. I mean, I don't know how you could expect much more of a guy coming off somebody else's practice squad, and so I was really happy for him. And bodes well for him getting in the rotations for the future. What did you say? 20 plays it was. That's a good contribution in your first game for sure.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great
See ya.
bye.
See you next week. Don't let the doorknob hit you with the dog shit.